Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and back at it again, folks. It's a Thursday night. We're going to bring you a special episode of the Dirt Sheet Debate, the show where the three hosts on the screen get into some of the hot topics in wrestling. We'll take some of your hot takes and we're just going to debate about them. We're going to chew into them a little bit. We're going to talk about them. We're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure you get in that chat, say hello. If you haven't hit like, subscribe, do so. Click all our links and get ready to debate. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are live, folks. Welcome to the Wrasslin for Life Network. This is the Dirt Sheet Debate, the show where we debate all the fun stuff from the dirt sheets and around the IWC. We're going to jump into a bunch of things here tonight, including a preview for 2 pay-per-views that are coming this weekend and a whole bunch more. We got lots of topics, lots of people bickering on the internet. So it's going to be fun, but me and these two pretty faces are going to get into all of that tonight. Like I said, get in that chat, say hello. But first, I will remind everybody, I am Mr. Everynight KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. That's Anthony, and that's Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrasslin for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world, tag team trios champions of the world, the Every Night in the Light KJ White, Mea Culpa, the hat that runs the ring starter, the I am Big Nick, and Chris Jericho's on a farewell tour, but he won't let us say farewell.
He is the wrestler that will never end. I don't understand, but we are definitely going to talk about that. How you doing, Anthony? How you doing?
I am doing well, ready to throw some punches tonight, talk about some wrestling. I'm excited. It's been an interesting week in pro wrestling.
Yeah, lots going on. WWE heading over to France for Backlash. Dynamite again, another interesting one. Still puttering in the ratings, even though people were, happy about it being up. Lots happening on that show. Some good, some bad. Of course, we got Under Siege tomorrow at the same time as SmackDown. And again, the usual bickering and bantering and fans being mad at each other and calling each other names. It's hilarious to watch. The WWE fans and the AEW fans call each other the same thing. Like, you both live in your mom's basement. It's like, holy shit, guys. So,
right. You're arguing at each other from different basements.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's really hilarious. But with all that being said, let's kick this off tonight. And welcome, chat. Thank you for being here. As I was just telling the boys, a record-breaking April for this channel. We appreciate all the love. We appreciate seeing all the faces in the chat. So be a friend, tell a friend. We always like to see triple digits nowadays. So we'll see how many people we can get here tonight for this debate. But I guess we can start with Dynamite because I can get you guys to chime in. I had 3 hours last night. I did not know it was 3 hours till about 20 minutes before. So I had to strap in and strap on and let go. But Dynamite, good, bad, ugly. How did you guys feel about Dynamite last night? Was
there anything good about it?
Depends who you ask.
I mean, I tried. I really did. I didn't even like the Edge match at the beginning.
Okay.
Like, I was bored. Yeah. And then we had some promos. Then Chris Jericho came out, and that was the end of it for me. I was watching for Kenny Omega's return. I really wanted to see Kenny Omega. By the time I got through Chris Jericho, I felt like I worked a 40-hour work week after I watched the Chris Jericho match. If you were in the comments last night, I did say that match was worse than any Rousey promo that I've heard throughout her entire career in WWE. I checked out. I was like, this is enough for me. I will try again next Wednesday.
I'll find out what Kenny said tomorrow.
You didn't like R2-D2 Shibata there, just still walking down Chris Jericho like a fucking droid?
No.
Oh, come on, but he's the learning tree. He's the Ayatollah of the rock and roller. He is the demo god.
And let's talk about that, the learning tree. What is that? Like, what is that? First you're like the Lionheart, then you're this other stuff, and now you're the learning tree. I don't.
You're this other stuff. That's my favorite.
Like, and now you're the learning tree. Like, what is this?
Listen, I was there live last night trying to put on a brave face and trying to find some positives. Jericho, I've said this before, I'll say it again. He is literally like the Ted Bundy of ratings. He is just murdering everything. He thinks this is great. My favorite part of the whole show, maybe outside of Kenny Omega last night, was when Shibata hit him in the ear with the first kendo shot, right in the ear. I was, oh, that was the best part.
Did you like the 5-minute chops back and forth, like literally just chopping straight through a commercial break and all of that? There is a silver lining of, oddly enough, stuff I liked in this show. Now, granted, I think it's odd that they waited for Kenny for the last thing, but again, you kind of can't top that. But it just felt like you had a whole bunch of shit to slog through. But I did like that they did the Young Bucks takeover on the intro, the video package,
That was
like
cool.
that, and then it was all downhill till Kenny.
I asked the chat this last night, guys, if the exact same concept was happening, like two guys taking over the company, running amok, changing the intros, making decisions. If it was two people that weren't Matthew and Nicholas, would it be a better story? Would it be more tolerable? Would it resonate better with the fans if it wasn't these two jackoffs?
Absolutely. Well, 100%, because I thought about this earlier today. What is their comeuppance in all of this? Like, what is the end game here? Like, when the heels finally defeated, they're still EVPs.
Right.
So what is going to be the ultimate comeuppance for these guys?
I don't know. That's a good question, Nick. Like, I honestly don't know. I think these two guys are strongly disliked in the wrestling community at this point, where I don't think people actually care.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
we don't like you.
That's the thing. I'm trying to like this. I'm trying to give it a chance, because if it wasn't them executing it, there's a way that this could be good. I feel like, to kind of KJ's question, if it wasn't the elite involved and actual sensible human beings who actually knew how to book some shit, I feel like this actually has the potential to be something. Like, it's so strange to me of, they could have done this type of shit when they had Phillip Brooks in their company, and then instead can't do business then, but now we're going to do what essentially could have been the story just now once he's out of the company.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this story would have worked if CM Punk was still there. I don't think it's working now. I still don't see the benefit of showing the footage. A couple of weeks ago, I've seen people try to justify it on Twitter. I'm not understanding what we're trying to justify here. I still don't think it was a good idea. I don't really understand or get what is actually happening. And I think as a whole, last night we got a bunch of confusion from everything, even with Swerve. And I think, and this is not bad towards the crowd, but I even think the crowd was a little bit confused.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think all of it is just in a terrible position.
Yeah, people are blaming Winnipeg. Winnipeg loves wrestling. They were there
Right.
before, and the fans were going crazy. But this time, it was just the sleepy Winnipeggers showed up last night.
I don't know what type of mental deficiency a human being has to have to sit there and blame the paying audience for them not enjoying the show. They paid to see you. So why are you blaming them that, oh, you don't like what we're doing? So then it's probably shit. That's the thing. Like you said, even KJ, they've done shows in Winnipeg, they've done tours through Canada and everything. They're still going to be staying in Canada. It's never the crowd's fault that they're going to be completely dead silent. You have to get the crowd involved, and if you're not going to do that, then that's on you.
Yeah, because people in Winnipeg weren't enjoying Jericho have a 25-minute garbage match. Somehow it's their fault. He's from Winnipeg. If anybody was ever going to cheer this motherfucker, it would have been then.
Right, exactly. He should have had the loudest pop in the building when he came out, and he didn't. It was just dead silence throughout the entire night. And like you said, Nick, like I don't understand the internet wrestling community blaming the crowd for them not being hyped. It is not their job to be hype. It's the job of the wrestlers and the bookers to get the show to be exciting for the crowd to actually be entertained and hyped. And it wasn't that last night at all. I didn't even see a lot of people talking about Dynamite last night. Like the usuals that I follow, they were not even tweeting last night about the show.
No, even for trying to clip it like stuff out that was like, oh, there was very little of note. A lot of nothing matches. I mean, the ratings end up coming in at 702. People were happy about that because it was up from 680, but again, you're cheering about
we're
7.
up from rock bottom.
Well, we're not. I don't think we've seen rock bottom yet, but
well, that's the thing. Every time you think the floor is there, that just somehow there's another layer underneath.
Chopping through it like Joe Pesci in Home Alone,
right?
Now I will say this: Jack Perry is winning me over. Jack Perry, his promos, his attitude, his approach, winning me over.
That was cool to see. Yeah.
I said a couple of streams ago, around when he was first coming back, we were talking about it and debated about it, of he could end up being the top heel in this company. And I think we're getting there. Now, granted, there's another wrestler that we can talk about that I think they're already cutting their legs out from underneath him fucking fast, and Swerve.
That is one of my topics, because this was kind of an arbitrary, hey, look, we got a match.
Yeah. Well, last thing on the Jack Perry thing, I like that, Tony, we all need to sacrifice. And he's actually somehow developed a fucking promo. He developed a personality in Japan, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, I just think he's leaning into it proper. And I said it about Matthew and Nicholas last night, was like Jack Perry came out, jumped Kenny, instantly had a chip on his shoulder, had that attitude. And then the Bucks come out and it's like they're playing around. They don't take it serious. Like, we saw it with the Tony Khan, turn, where they pretend like they're not going to do what we know they're going to do. No, let's pick them up. Let's help them. The same thing last night. Hey, guys, calm down. Don't hurt Kenny. Bang, we hurt Kenny. Well, you did that last week. Just come out and be what you're supposed to be. Like, you don't see Jack Perry being like, I'm really mad, maybe, kind of, sort of. And that's what I feel like the Bucks are always doing, is like, we're bad. No, we're not. Yeah, we are. No, we're not. And it's lame.
They're just douchebags, is what it is. They're just douchebags.
They're non-committal douchebags.
Insufferable douchebags. I'll put it that way. Insufferable douchebags. But no, even Jack Perry, like, he slicks back the hair, and the little shit-eating grin now is already a fucking meme. Like I said, there's potential here he's going to be the breakout of this whole fucking thing. Yeah. Okada's going to he's the goofy mascot now, which is sad to say, where someone like Kazuchika Okada.
But I felt like he's becoming the leader of all this. He's like the one, like, big dude that, like, even last night.
He's just the heavy.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. Yeah, fair.
Who's going to be the heavy out of the fucking Bucks and Jungle Boy?
Yeah, I guess.
The three of them together wouldn't be a heavy.
They go on each other's shoulders and get in a trench coat.
Form of ultra douchebag.
Ultra douche. But you did bring up Swerve. We did have a Swerve moment last night. Again, at least he wasn't in a silly match that didn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. But the Bucks basically say, we have a challenger for you. Here he comes. And it's Christian Cage. No rankings. The last time we saw Christian, he was getting his ass kicked and losing a belt. And here he is. He is your number one contender for Double or Nothing.
Okay, you said it at the beginning with the rankings, because that's the first thing I said last night. I was like, wait a minute. I thought we were talking about rankings and how they matter, and how this was going to be a kind of a reboot thing for TNA for AEW in 2024. And it's like, okay, well, he jumped to the world title picture. So what are we doing with the rankings now? Christian is an excellent opponent for Swerve. I think it's going to be a great match. How it was executed last night and how it was started, that's the point of when the crowd was confused about what was happening, especially towards the end, where like they didn't even know if they were supposed to clap or not. Like it was that it was that confusing. So I don't know.
It's interesting you said he wasn't in a stupid nothing match or anything. No, he just got booked into a stupid nothing match, because this was, like you both said, the rankings are out the window now. I mean, I guess it makes sense if the EVPs are just forcing somebody into there. I'll jump with you on that logic train. And they were doing it clearly just because he's from Canada and and just hyping up like it might be Kenny coming out, which I mean, they fired Kenny from the Elite, so I don't know why they'd be bigging him up for it. But are you excited, both of you right now, and everybody in the chat, are you still as excited right now for Swerve as a champion as you were when he won it? That's the thing. And it feels like it's degraded pretty rapidly over 2 weeks already, because we've had him in 3 to 4 matches in a week, in 10 days or something like that. And we've spent more time in him being in matches than build up his pay-per-view match, his big defense.
So I guess I can, this is the dirt sheet, so I can be very, very honest here. I don't even know if I was really excited for him to become champion at all.
Oh, do tell, sir. Do tell. Show your work.
I think more of it is because I wasn't really into the product, and I'm still not. So it was like I wasn't into the Samoa Joe Swerve storyline. I wasn't much into AEW. I was watching here and there, basically seeing people talk about it online and see clips here and there. So I think for me, it's just I'm not in touch to the product like I should be, and that's because I don't think it's the best right now.
Fair enough.
So nothing personal against Swerve.
No, and that's fair. And I mean, from my standpoint, I was excited about Swerve getting the belt. I think Swerve's highly talented. I think he's a good promo. I think when you have him in something that matters, there's a level of intensity that he brings out. And again, it's one of the people that bring authenticity to this product. And I think that's what Jericho, I think that's what the Bucks, they lack. Like my favorite part of the show last night, just to kind of jump quickly, was Kenny, because it felt so authentic. Like when he was genuinely talking about going through diverticulitis and being 24 hours away from, possibly, seeing the worst happen, it felt authentic. Swerve's one of those people that can tap into that authenticity. And I believe what he's saying. Like, this is my dream. I want to accomplish this. And since he's been the champion, that excitement's faded because you're not giving him those spotlights. He's not in a rivalry that really matters. You're not building anything of like, this is going to be intense. You just drop the challenger on him out of left field and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's he doesn't feel anywhere near at the level. Like a prime example, we were here for NXT Spring Break, and when you had Trick Williams come out and everything like that, and they bigged him up, and it's still okay. The guy's already over, but you got to keep getting him more over and keep building him up still even more, because he's your fucking champion now. We saw a prime example of when you can do that with somebody that just won the belt with Trick, and AEW's just kind of already just, all right, we just gave you the belt, so move along. Like, does the Elite being so much the focus of the shows now, and Tony and all of that, does it feel like everything else now has become an afterthought?
A little bit, to an extent. Like, I really feel that way, that it's the only thing that matters on the show. That's why we get Samoa Joe versus Isaiah. We get what was the other match? Brian Cage
and Claudio.
Yeah, like, I mean, and some great matches. It was a really good show. No, like, let's be real. If they had booked that on a Monday, there was fans out there that praised last night that would have eaten Raw alive for booking, Joe versus Isaiah. Like, it had no purpose. It has no reason. Just, nice for Joe to come out and kick the shit out of somebody.
There's no tag division now. The Young Bucks won the tag titles, and there's no tag division anymore. You barely even remember that they are the tag champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of bad. It really is.
And it was pointed out by Charles here, like, nobody helped Swerve. He is in a faction as it stands right now. And one of the members of the faction were booked on the show. So we know Brian Cage is in back, getting ready for his match. What? He just didn't look at the monitor? Was he in the shower? Like what? Why did nobody?
Because then you've got to make Cage a babyface.
That's why you got to separate Swerve from that faction.
Yeah, like this whole segment though was even kind of bad and awkward with Killswitch of pulling out one of the braids and everything. Like it was all just clunky and it's forced. And that's the thing is you could have taken these 3 weeks instead of having matches with Kyle Fletcher, with Claudio, this, that, and the third. You could have been taking this time to build. You have him come out night one. He's got a big celebration, big ceremony, everything like that. And someone comes out and gets in his face or whatever. Could be whoever the fuck. It could be Christian then. And then you build, and then you've got a runway to build this being a feud and make it make sense. And say Christian just comes out and claps at the end of his celebration. Then you build to them getting face to face. Build up to this story versus now where we've got maybe 2-3 weeks of Dynamite for them to try and build us to be excited for Christian versus Swerve.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't. I mean, I think I mentioned earlier, like I think the story is there, and Christian basically told it last night. And I think they have something there. I'm afraid that it's not going to be done right, but I don't know. I am at least interested in this story with Swerve and Christian, and I do want to see the match. I want to see how it plays out, and I'm hopeful that they have some type of that it plays out very well, but I just don't know.
Is that the thing though with AEW is that they have really great matches, but they don't have any real story behind anything.
See, I think. Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I was gonna say where I think it was Edge who said where the best wrestle, and that might be the case where they wrestle, but where they tell stories, I don't know.
See, this is an ongoing rhetoric that's been going on for quite a while with AEW of like we might not have the best angles, but we have the best matches. But as of late, I would argue the matches have been fucking not great. They are underachieving. I'd rather watch an NXT for good quality wrestling. I'd rather watch TNA for wrestling, or I'd rather turn on GCW or one of the indie shows for a quality wrestling. Jericho last night was not a quality wrestling match. Joe Isaiah wasn't it was okay. I mean, Joe's awesome, but it wasn't a great match. Like you're not tuning in like I have to see this match, except one-offs. I think there's less quality matches than there are good matches. But when they do an Osprey Fletcher, it pulls that average up a little, and people are resting on 1 or 2 matches a month.
Well, I mean, shit, they rest on it with quarter hours with the ratings and everything like that. And they rest on a lot of shit of, oh, well, there was, this going on. So that's why no one paid attention, this, that, and the third.
Right.
But yeah, I had a point and I lost it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the excuses for the ratings, every TV show is going up against playoffs. Every TV show is going up against competition. We saw a dip in Raw's numbers. We saw a dip in SmackDown's numbers. And people can argue that, well, maybe things are a little less interesting without the bloodline and whatnot. But there is a lot going on right now. The weather's getting nicer. People are going out more. All the playoffs going on. Baseball season just kicked off. Like, there are reasons, and you will see.
Right.
You can't lean on those excuses. If you make a quality show, and you've proven it in the past, where you're doing better numbers than you're doing now, up against the same shit. There was playoffs in 2021. There was playoffs in 2020. Like, let's be real.
Right, and I remembered half of my point, but I was mentioning how even Adam Copeland's match versus Buddy Murphy wasn't great either, and he's the one where the best wrestle. Like that's the thing you were saying about how the matches kind of feel watered down even a bit at this point. It's not super great in-ring action, but they'll have a match of the year candidate on a pay-per-view randomly, and then that feels like that makes an excuse for everything else. Like, oh well, it's busy during the summer with playoffs and everything like that. Yeah, but you guys have used this is going on, that's going on all year round. You're blaming the crowd because the crowd wasn't reacting. The crowd was dead. Well, it's kind of your job as a professional wrestler to get the crowd involved, right? You don't go to a fucking play and then the opera singers and everything like that blame the audience. Well, you weren't fucking into it.
Right. And the same cycle of, sports and TVs happens each year. It doesn't change. The raw ratings dip, in September and October and November because of Monday Night Football. It happens. But at times, not all the time, but at times, Raw can be very consistent. Same as SmackDown. SmackDown can be very consistent. AEW is not consistent. And I hate, hating on I guess I am, but hating on a company, but it's not consistent. I feel like consistency is a story that drives you in, and then each week you're coming back for that one specific story or multiple stories. I feel like the only story, and this is an unpopular opinion, but I feel like the only story that draws me in to continue to watch AEW every week is Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale. It's not the best. No, it's not the best storyline. It's not. Mercedes Moné doesn't have the best promo skills. I knew that back in
any promo skills,
but I feel like this is the only consistent storyline that's driving me to come back to AEW each week.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't like it. I think, but again, to your point, we're not getting a whole lot to choose from.
Right.
Well, and I really liked you saying it hasn't been consistent. That's been the biggest thing, the biggest issue, all of that. I'll agree with you to an extent on the Willow thing, just because I like Willow. And now, granted, I'll ask you, KJ, your opinion too, of the street fight that ended Rampagia. Like, that was so just kind of seemingly unnecessary. Like, why do we always have to have a street fight, a no DQ match, a lights out match on every show?
Yeah. You know what? And then the funny thing is, this is where they kind of do this thing of they put on a match like that, and it's not a great wrestling match, and they use matches like that to overcompensate for people that can't go bell to bell, right? So instead of the wrestlers being exposed for maybe being a little green, they get to run around with kendo sticks. Like earlier in the night,
I think Sky Blue and Willow could, though. That's the thing, is I think those are two women on that roster that could actually have a decent match if they just had a regular fucking match.
Right.
Well, and I brought that up last night as far as like they're talking. Like, the rumor is that Camille is committed to going to AEW. You bring Camille in, great, but then where does it go? Like, you have to book this division better. And if you look at the women's division, most of the matches people talk about are all no DQ matches, first blood matches, Britt and Thunder. And like, I mean, again, it wasn't a bad match. I commend the ladies. Like, I mean, did you really need, Sky Blue to go through a barbed wire table, at a main event on a 3-hour night of AEW? I don't think so.
With the safest chair shot ever seen in wrestling existence, by the way. But no, right. I'll take a line that I even heard you mention on Wednesday of if we already know and have pretty much established Tony can't book the men right, so what makes you think he's going to book the women right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you're hooking up with the easy one, so how are you expecting to get the advanced shit?
And that goes back to what I've said, and I think I've said it on stream a couple of months ago. Why would Sasha Banks leave a company where she thought the women's division was being booked back to go to a company where the women's division is actually being booked back? Now, not saying that it was booked very well when she was there, because it was some miss moments there, but like, this division is known to not be very good. So why decide to go there? I don't know.
Money. That's exactly what
that is true, though.
She dollar bill, y'all.
Right. Now, that all being said, I did have someone ask, what is our predictions for Backlash on Saturday? I think that's a great place to. I mean, we spent 30 minutes beating up.
I have 2 quick questions.
Yeah, sure.
2 quick questions at the end of AEW. How do we feel about Don Callis and Orange Cassidy? Because and
what the
then it's so weird. Now, the only thing I could think of, Callis might have connections to the Elite, so he'll get the match book between OC and Trent, but we didn't need that. It's terrible. Don't do it.
I don't get it.
And then Kenny, at the end, I know we touched on it briefly and everything like that. Are we glad at least that if you're going to, he's going to be out for a while, they at least used it into the story. They made an angle out of it. I liked the ending of Dynamite for once.
I did. I appreciated how they did it. I thought Kenny was good. My only little bit of criticism was the Bucks coming out and playing that two-step game of like, or the double dutch of like, am I in? Am I in? Can I go now? We knew you were going to turn, like you turned last week. So this week you don't have to turn again. You've already turned. Just come out and enjoy, like come out instantly, kick them. Like, don't hesitate. We know what you are. But beyond that, Kenny's promo was great. It was heartfelt. It meant something. You believed him that he couldn't wait to get back. And even when he was face to face with Okada, it was like, all right, we can run this back. We know, like, I know we know the history of it, but it's something you can build on. I like it.
That's the that's the so fucked part, is that they have the roster that they could have these amazing matches. Just no one can ever be healthy or synced up or in the right shit at the right time or anything. Sorry. By the way, go Leafs. I saw the reaction. Go Leafs.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, I did like the ending of Dynamite. I did see that on social media today. I liked Kenny Omega's promo. I liked what he did with Okada. I thought that was neat. I think that might have been the best thing I saw on Dynamite last night, was that. So yeah, I did like the ending of Dynamite.
Right. Yeah, it was the best part of Dynamite. And again, I think a lot of times the fan base, like the tribal fan base, will hang their hat on like that one thing. You 2 hours of shite, but we got one thing that was really cool. So the show was amazing.
Was it them listening to everything that's going on? So we're going to have our biggest moment for the end of the show, because it's normally been the worst part of the fucking show. And hey, well, you didn't want Tony on TV, so we wrote him the fuck off TV. So you should at least be happy with that.
Right. Yeah, and I thought it was a little interesting in the sense that hint that he, like, Tony might have a GM or somebody step in, but there was like really no reference to it on the show. It was just like, because a lot of people thought, would Kenny show up and kind of take the show over, and that would cause the confrontation. So it was kind of a bit of a like, Tony, don't lie to your fan base. You can play games and kayfabe and stuff. You can trick them, mislead them. But when you're outright lying, it's bad faith. Like if Kenny didn't show up last night, people would have been really pissed off.
Bro, how many times have we had major announcements that weren't shit?
Yeah.
You're lying to your fan base about a phantom GM. Did he even mention that, or was that just a storyline that the Twitterverse wrote?
I feel like it was just the storyline Twitter ran with. Go ahead.
I think he alluded to it in I saw a little clip where he was kind of like, now again, it could have been a little bit conflated as far as like, he says, well, you never know. And they were like, he's thinking this. So I'll let him off the hook.
Yeah, I thought Scott D'Amore might show up. It's in Canada, in Team Canada. He seems, pretty free and open right now. That would have been a holy shit. That might be pulling us in the right direction if he's involved.
That's what it seems. It seems like he might be free and open, but there's been some trademarks filed, which said otherwise. So
absolutely. But did you have any other questions about Dynamite?
No, that was it, sir. Thank you. Thank you for hearing me out, sir. Thank you for hearing me out, Your Honor.
All right. You have the card for Backlash. By all means.
En français, yes.
I know there's not much on it at the moment.
Well, we can talk about that real quick. Do you think that more matches needed to be added or anything like that? Which, by the way, we're at 81 people in the chat right now and watching us. So let's see if we can get that to triple digits. So add more people to that. But 5 matches on the card. Do you think that we need to round it out, like maybe a 7 and 8, at least 1 or 2, maybe?
We've seen this trend with Triple H that he goes small cards, but we made the excuse as far as, well, we have 2 elimination chambers or we have 2 rumbles. Fine. I think this one being Backlash and just kind of a run-of-the-mill pay-per-view, I would expect us to get to 6, maybe 7.
Yeah, you get an IC belt match, something like this feels like NXT TakeOver level.
I don't know what is kind of happening, because it seems like it was when Triple H, in retrospect, took fully control of creative probably about 6 months ago. It started off with like 6 matches, and then it started to dwindle from there, where I think Elimination Chamber had 4. I think that the Royal Rumble I was there, I can't remember, but I think the Royal Rumble had 4, right? Yeah, it was 2 Rumbles, and then the Universal Championship match and the United States Championship match. So that was 4 as well. I like the theory of quality over quantity. I do like that. I think that's perfect, but sometimes can we get a little bit more, just like a tad? Like, can we get back
to the TK? Don't give us 14. Give us like
can we get back to the original 6 Triple H? Like at least that, or 7. I think 5 is I don't know.
Well, and you mentioned like the Rumble, the Chamber, and everything like that. Those are matches you know where it's going to take a while. It's going to have a good runtime here. I don't know of too many matches here that are going to really have this huge runtime here. And if you're going to do a 3-hour premium live event, just that's tends to be the average they do now. Like that sounds like this could be a lot of fluff and a lot of filler, which
yeah, we want quality over quantity, and we talked about that with the AEW pay-per-views, where they kind of diminish the value of their pay-per-views by having extra kind of nothing matches.
Right.
And again, I'm all for booking in a place where you allow your matches to cook. Give Cody and AJ a good amount of time. But with such a deep roster and so much going on the shows, I would argue that you could have some title. You have a lot of titles that you could defend on this particular show. It's not hard to get there.
Yeah, Waller and Theory don't have a match on this card. Sammy versus Bronson isn't on this card. Yeah, there's
is Sammy gonna fight Gable in France? Has that been announced yet?
No. I'm looking at Wikipedia right now, the most reliable of fan-made sources. But yeah, so far we've still just got the 5 matches, and I thought it was Bronson that signed the contract, or am I misremembering things?
No, because he fought Bronson on Monday, did he not?
Oh shit! I thought
I think he fought Bronson.
I mistook a match for a contract signing. Never mind me. I've had too many head wounds. I'm out here getting hit in the fucking head like Shibata in that trash can.
That's all right. Last night I was convinced that Dante Martin wrestled twice. Convinced.
But so do we want to run through the matches?
Yes.
Okay. So Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, not KJ, Kevin Owens versus the bloodline of Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga.
Ooh, Anthony.
I'm torn. And I've seen like the WWE fans torn as well. But I'm gonna go with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens.
Strategy.
I want to go, but I'm confused. Can I change it? Never mind.
No, you lock it in. You lock it in.
No, because I just remembered though, it's Tama Tonga's first match, right?
Correct.
So okay, yeah, I'm changing that. It's Solo and Tama Tonga.
No.
I'm changing it, Nick. You're not the boss of me.
This man got a bid in for $1.
Ooh, yeah, no, I'm going Tonga and Solo, and potentially a Jacob Fatu sighting.
Can he get to France? I mean, that with all due respect. Please don't show up at my doorstep, Mr. Jacob, Mr. Fatu, whatever you want to be called, Mr. Small Werewolf. Don't show up.
If there's a will, there's a way in this world, and when you're, when you have all that money, people find a way to end up in different places. So I don't know. Maybe they make us wait. There's a couple other maybes on this card that we can talk about, but I think that Tama and Solo, we're building the new bloodline here.
Oh, absolutely. This is a clear cut. They pick up the win. Excuse me. It's interesting if Jacob shows up there. I think that there's going to be one big surprise on the show that we can talk about. That I don't know if they're going to do a bunch of other surprises on here. So, and again, legal ramifications. I ain't trying to open up anyone's cases, but yeah. I still think though, like you said, we're setting up the new bloodline, and they have been the most entertaining thing to watch on SmackDown right now, bar none.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like how they've carried the story on past Roman, right? Like we are being entertained without Roman present, and it's only going to be that much better when he does return and get himself involved in this. But there's so many questions around so much of it. You know, where does Paul really stand? Is Paul really fearful? Is Paul, is somebody like The Rock pulling the strings? I think it's great. I love what they've done with Tama Tonga, where we were just talking about AEW and some of their, Swerve situation, their Jay Whites. I mean, Tama Tonga looks like a badass superstar real quick.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that's so interesting with this. If we all wondered of how can they still make the bloodline prevalent and popular and everything post-Roman. And now we've very clearly seen that. Now we've got Solo, Suge Knight, Sokoa, and Tupac Tama Tonga. So
Tupac Tama Tonga.
So 100%, I'm all the way about it. Just let them, and especially it's not them taking on two squash guys or anything like that. Like, this is Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Like, even the fact that they did the whole Kevin Owens got his car smashed into and comes out there gushing blood and everything like that. They said PG era can piss off with all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. They did kind of say that, like, okay, we're moving on from the PG era with that whole segment. I've seen the rumors too online. But I think it's gonna be a good showing of Tama Tonga and Solo at Backlash on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's a good chance to really highlight them. And if they lose this, again, I mean, there is a way they can lose and it'd be okay. But I think if you're going to cement them moving forward, that we need some shit to go down.
Well, he's a gusher. We got a bleeder.
We got a bleeder. Fuck.
Now I still just need to hear Solo say, "I did it for the Rock." I did it for the Roman.
That's what's going to happen. Roman's.
Or even just shit. Well, no, it'd be Thomas saying, "I did it for the Solo."
Right? No, but what happens is the Rock returns. And it turns out it was him the whole time, and that's where you get.
Well, how do you feel? Side note, side tangent. Sorry, of all the rumors, the talks, the speculations about Dwayne's interactions backstage at WrestleMania of changing, rehearsal times and everything because he showed up late, of all of his Hollywood stuff and everything. Y'all haven't heard any of these antics that have been talked about?
Much, no.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, there's been a lot of anti-Dwayne chatter going on about that he's showing up, when he was on movie set, showed up 8 hours late and everything like that, and just still acting like he holds court. I guess there were people saying that he was trying to change around, rehearsal times for WrestleMania because he showed up late and everything. I think it's all just hate the guy that's at top, but yeah.
It is what it is.
I mean, that wouldn't, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but that wouldn't make sense if just a couple of years ago The Rock was upset, which I believe this was a true story, with Vin Diesel for coming in late and trying to change the filming schedule. So what they're trying to perpetuate now doesn't make sense.
To me, well, it's more of, like I said, seems like people are trying to stoke the flames of like how there was the Vin Diesel Dwayne beef and everything like that. Now that he's showing up at the hot time in WWE, that he's stirring up backstage controversies and everything again. It's just he's popular, he showed up, so let's just make him look like an asshole.
It's probably the AEW tribalist starting that. So
yeah, it's a lot of that internal, like, we'll report it like a real story and then people will believe it. So let's run. Right. But that all being said, what other matches do we got on Backlash, sir?
Sorry, we got the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane defending the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. And obvious pick.
Is it obvious? Yeah, it feels obvious.
I think it's
how they gonna lose.
I think it's obvious. I think it's Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. I do think this will be the coming of age party or match for Jade Cargill. I think that's going to be the match where she is going to be able to show her true abilities and what she has learned at the Performance Center over the past 8 months. I think she's been signed. I think this match is going to be that match for her.
We put out a clip of them, like her and Bianca working on tandem offense. Like, I mean, you see them working over in Italy. I think, and again, it's a perfect setup. She's working with somebody who's a great talent in Belair. I think this gives them a lot of runway to kind of get her into that ring more consistently. And then we get the inevitable boot to the face and we get heel Jade and we move forward. We're good to go.
And still, heel Jade versus Bianca is going to cook because that's top star versus top star. Like, that's the thing, is Bianca is one of the top 2, top 3 in the WWE Women's Division, period. So,
yeah.
But yeah, this clearly has to be them winning this title. I agree with you, Anthony. This could be very much a show up and show out, because that's what the show is about moment for Jade. I don't think it really should be Bianca does 95% of the moves and then Jade just comes in, does one glam slam and 1, 2, 3. But do you feel, and side tangent again, of this match or any other matches tonight or on the card, have any effect or weight bearing on the potential trades that we've heard talked about with the WWE Draft or anything like that?
Yeah, it was definitely something I wanted to get your opinions on, as far as they're doing exactly kind of what I was hoping for. Is like, the draft was the draft, and we can debate later, whether it should be a thing or not. But the fact that now there could be trades, there's going to be free agents. I like it a lot.
Shouldn't they have done the trades just in the draft, though, like that fast?
No.
Well, I think they've traded outside of the draft before.
Right, I understand that, but like a week after or so, like you could have
a month after. It's like any other
draft.
Sport. Not all the trades are done at the draft, like any other sport. I know Buffalo has a weird trade.
Hey, we're not talking about that. Don't get me into that, because that would be another 3 hours here. I'm saying about, if you were going to do, and we can probably save this for should the draft exist conversation, but if you were going to do trades this close after the draft, should you have not just made those picks during the draft type of thing? It's one of those, you knew what you were going to do.
No. The only thing I can think of, and I kind of agree with KJ with saying no. The only thing I can muster up in my mind to think of is if Triple H wanted to keep certain storylines in line, and I'm going to use Jey Uso as an example. If Jey Uso was traded after his match with Damian Priest on Saturday, I would totally be okay with that. But if you did it before, then it's like, oh, Jay is obviously losing at Backlash.
I'll give you that. That's the loophole in my argument and everything like that. That's one of those, if you do a trade like that or you draft somebody like that, then you give away pretty much a result before a match happens. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, because the draft doesn't kick in until after Backlash, I think for me, and nobody's saying like we're going to make a trade this week. I think the fact that they're alluding to there's going to be trades, and it's like anything else. There's trades that happen leading into the draft, trades happen after a draft. Yeah, if we were to find out 2 weeks from now, 2 people were switched, yeah, I got no problem with that. I think that's very real to a lot of sports, of like, oh, we got a guy in the draft, now we can free up someone else, so we can make a move here. And again, if it's a better fit, I'm all for it. I like it. Anything like the free agency or the trades, I think makes this exciting, makes it feel legitimate, and I hope they stick to it.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Like a couple weeks down the road, I had heard stuff that they were going to do trades before Monday, even. So it's one of those of, I think, like Anthony kind of said there, of like if Jey Uso was about to get traded or anything like that, that you're not going to do that ahead of time, because that'll, give away a result. So I'll concede that point. But yeah, I can see very much if you do this a month down the road, 2 months down the road or whatever, and you actually get trades and all of that and everything, I'm fully fine with it. It's, to me, it's this close to the draft that I was like,
yeah, but think about it this way, Nick. If I wanted to pick a person and you happen to pick them before me. I wanted Carmelo Hayes. You took him in the first round. I was shocked. But I managed to scoop up another person that I took before you. Are we able to kind of finagle two players to kind of get what we wanted out of that? Yeah, I mean, I think to me that doesn't sound far-fetched, especially when you only have two teams on the field.
Fair enough. I'll go back into our draft and everything. I'll trade you Dom Dom for Tiffy. Do you accept the deal?
Ooh, you're gonna have to throw in more than just Dom Dom.
No.
Kevin Owens was traded for Jey Uso much after the draft last year. Yeah, that was way after the draft, and that was like the only trade we got really of the year. Do we remember any other trades?
And they just stopped caring about the draft, so the trades didn't matter.
I see Bianca turning on Jade before Jade does. Could Bianca be but I think Jade's a better heel. I don't know.
Jade was kind of teasing a heel turn before Jade showed up.
Yeah, she was. We saw a lot of it was worth talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. Jade and Bianca might be the stars those tag belts need.
Facts. Can't deny that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt at all. What's the next match?
Go ahead. You see champions traded because they were locked up or whatever. Could you see Sammy gets traded, what have you, for Logan Paul because we had the Logan Paul Braun Strowman interaction?
Maybe. I think that's cool.
I think that could be very well happening.
Speaking of champions, the next match, Bayley defending the WWE Women's Championship versus Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. And I got to go with my brain, not my heart here.
Yeah, just 1 second on this, though. I just want to quickly say, I know we're not talking to the chat a whole lot here tonight. We're kind of going back and forth, but we are clicking on your chat messages. We thank the almost 80 people for being here. Make sure you watch all of our stuff. We are back tomorrow for SmackDown. We have brunch with the boys Saturday morning. We got so much going on here at the channel, so don't forget that. Plus TNA Under Siege, so we're doing a double bill tomorrow night. But definitely get in that chat. Let us know what you guys think about the WWE Draft. Anything we're talking about. If there's something you want us to talk about, get in there, and we'll see if we click it. Back to you, sir.
Me? I was done. I set it up to you guys. I said I was not going to pick. I was going to pick with my brain, not my heart. I was going to let y'all pick, and you know.
All right. Okay. Anthony, who are you taking then?
I want to take Naomi, but it's obviously
you gotta be like me. You gotta pick with your brain, not your heart.
It's obviously gonna be Bayley, but I do want to say everybody has quieted down with the why are we not booking Naomi better since all of this happened about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. Like, that's what I meant by giving it time. I think that's what you meant, Nick, by giving it time. Same as you, KJ. Everybody has been silent. You can't just thrust somebody in a picture when storylines are already going on. So just wanted to point that out. But Bayley retains at Backlash.
Yeah, I don't see Bayley losing the belt for quite a while. Could they surprise us? They're probably not going to surprise us. I'm going to go Tiffany just for fun.
Fuck you. Fuck you. there is so much with every ounce of my fiber in my being that I wanted to take Tiffany Stratton to win this match, but I know it's going to be Bayley. I want Tiffany, and I think it's crazy, and it speaks to her talent of how fast she's risen up the fucking women's division. And for whatever reason, she gets super over in the UK or in Europe, like when they were over there.
Yeah.
No, that was Australia. For Elimination Chamber. So overseas, international. There we go. But I'm waiting for the Tiffany Stratton pop in France and everything like that, but I'm still going to go with the hey, baby. So, yeah, she's got to retain. She's too new into this title reign. She's over. She makes the belt look great. She's super talented. It's got to be Bayley. But this is a great statement that this is what the SmackDown's women's division kind of holds.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent. We were just talking about Jade and Bianca. You know, even on the other side of it, the Kabuki Warriors are no slouches in their own right. In addition to that, I'm pretty confident that Bailey's going to win this. But if you wanted to kind of surprise us and have Tiffany steal one, maybe run around with the belt for a few weeks. I
Oh
don't
my
hate it.
God! Someone have 9-1 already in your phone that early in the afternoon though. If Tiffany Stratton wins, well, that's the thing. It'll be a twofold there. If Naomi wins, someone check on Anthony. If Tiffany wins, someone check up on me.
Right?
I actually like that idea, KJ. You could have, since it's triple threat and it's triple threat rules, you can have Bailey lose by not taking the pin. Naomi takes the pin, and then for a couple of weeks, you have her running around with the women's championship, and then Bailey takes it back, you know, at the next pay-per-view, which I think is King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can definitely have that there.
Oh. In France, my heart beats still. You're writing, you know, my own love story out there of Tiffany walking around as women's champion out here.
Right. Yeah, I think it'd be just a kind of a fun surprise, a fun pop. Especially like you said, if the international crowd really gets behind Tiffy time, man, she was a star in Australia. Like it's got to be tempting for them. And I know they don't want to push her too hard, too fast, but it's hard to resist, ain't it?
Well, the heartbeat's still here.
I think this is where a mid-card title could be used. Like this is the discussion we're having is perfect for a mid-card title to be used because you can put Tiffany Stratton in that position. I feel like.
Do you think though that NXT is doing it as the guinea pig?
I do think so.
Yeah.
I think they're the guinea pig of let's see if we can make this work. And that's even part of why Mitchin's there and all of that, because she would be in the same contention if it was on the main roster, I feel. So this is the litmus test. Let's see if we can make this work here before we try and do it there and fumble it on a bigger stage.
Right. Yeah. And if the Undertaker says they need to do it, then it's factual.
That's because he just wants his wife to come back and have one run with it. Michelle McCool.
Bailey wins at Backlash, faces Nia, King and Queen of the Ring. What if Tiffany does not win this, but she wins Queen of the Ring?
I'm happy either way. Like that's the thing. We are in the summer of Tiffany. I will say that right now. We've had the summer of Punk. We are in the summer of Tiffany. Either she's coming out women's champion, Queen of the Ring, or Money in the Bank briefcase holder. We are in the summer of Tiffany.
I feel like
we are in the summer of Epiphany, so embrace that shit.
I feel like if it's done right and they have some type of build after she wins it, I think go for it. I mean, I know previous King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, it didn't turn out very well. But if they do it right, and I think it'll be done right with Triple H, yeah, give it to Tiffany, let her run with it.
Now, as I see this with, we need the pink briefcase. Would you rather do Queen of the Ring or Money in the Bank? Because she'd be insufferable either way, and I love every second of it.
I think for me, Money in the Bank is held for Miss Chelsea Green.
Ooh.
Chelsea Green, Money in the Bank. You didn't pick Naomi?
No, I don't think Naomi needs the
He's
money
not about
to
Chelsea Green's not about
the title.
NXT champion.
She can do that on her own. I think Chelsea Green can be held for the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I could see Chelsea as Queen of the Ring, or I mean, shit, she might be NXT Women's Champion when she takes on Roxanne.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
No, I ain't having none of that shit.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure yet. But and again, I wonder if we could potentially see some mix up still for NXT and who's coming and going there, who's going up. Like I thought Vici was going there for sure. And apparently he's going to SmackDown instead.
Well, we can talk about that, we
got
talk about it now. Well, no, if we want to talk about it now, why there was nobody that got selected to NXT from the main roster or anything like that, because they were saying it would have felt like a quote unquote demotion, etc.
Yeah, I think they've done better at making it feel less like that as of late. No.
if you want to treat them true as a third brand, then they should have been having draft picks. Like I thought going into the WWE draft that they would have had draft picks.
Yeah, I just thought, I mean, again, I see why they didn't. I think it's tricky to pull it off because then they end up with me. Like my NXT had CM Punk.
Yeah, but then they have first pick of the free agent pool and everything like that. Like that's the thing, is one of those that you do the snake around with it thereof. So you got first pick of the fucking supplemental shit.
Fair enough.
Fair. I think it's technically hard for them to have NXT be a third brand when it's always NXT call-ups and not actual, like I think you just mentioned it being in the draft. I think you can't categorize NXT being a third brand if it's not a fully affected draft between all three brands. I've always kind of felt that way. I think it has the power to be a third brand, but still being developmental because it's always called call-ups or going to the main roster. It's not, if it was going to be its own brand, it's a part of the main roster already.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, realistically.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put that, because that's the thing, is I didn't even really take into account how it's always just spoken about of it's a call up, there's the main roster and then there's NXT. Like there is that weird hybrid because it is still a developmental, but it is so good at times and everything that it does kind of warrant that distinction as a third brand. So it has to do that weird tippy toe dance.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But we do have a couple more matches.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Rein you
So
back.
Damian Priest versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Damn. Jey Uso.
I thought that too. So damn you.
I would love Jey Uso to win, and I feel like with him being drafted to Monday Night Raw, still separate from the bloodline, I think they're running with this main event Jey Uso. So I would like for him to win, but it's that same thing with Bailey. Like, is it too early for Damian Priest to lose? So I'm gonna be safe. I'm gonna be safe and take Damian Priest.
Fuck it. I'm gonna say it because I want to speak it into existence, because this man at least deserves a singles title of some substance or anything like that. And besides, Roman's probably not showing up till SummerSlam anyways, so you can have at least a 2 to 3 week one, like you were talking about with Tiffany. Jey Uso's winning this. God damn it! I want to eat all over this shit.
Yeet all over the place. Go ahead.
No, I just said pause. I think Jey Uso at least needs to have a singles run with a title, especially being main event Jey Uso. And I don't know if we're going to do the IC title. Do you trade him to SmackDown and he gets a US title run, or if we even flip-flop those around? Like, he needs at least a title run, I think, to solidify main event Jey Uso.
I think that a couple things could happen here. One, I think Jey could get screwed by the bloodline. Again, which pulls him back into that scenario. And there Damian gets off. The other way I could see this going is because of the issues in Judgment Day, is this the moment where like Finn and JD and Dom turn on Damian, and Damian loses because of them? They go on to have a feud for a while, and we get a new champion. Jey finally gets to be truly main event Jey.
And I kind of dig them having the world title, because it's kind of one of those of it really kind of puts him on a different level and everything. And especially if we're going to get, Roman, Jimmy, and Jey all bonding together and everything, well, it kind of shows like Jey's elevated to here. And I mean, Jimmy, you're doing stuff too, but Roman's back too. I want him to have that moment of solidifying main event Jey Uso.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Meanwhile, anyone want to talk about how they caught Liv and Dom in like not only 4K but like 8K?
Right.
Like, we caught you in full high def, my guy.
I think that's where Liv Morgan said she wanted to take everything away from Rhea Ripley. I think that's the start of it, with potentially pulling Dom away from Rhea Ripley. And I like how they do it. I like how they did it. It's somewhat during a promo and somewhat like surveillance footage of like the show cheating. Of them coming out of one room and then the other one coming out the other room. But I like
How
that.
do you know each other? How do you know each other? We got
you here.
We just friends. We just friends. No,
I was just telling her no the whole time. I swear. I was just saying no.
She slipped, fell, landed.
You gotta catch you. But she caught me on the camera. Wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Caught you during the promo. Wasn't me.
Now with that, I think I like it because realistically, when Rhea returns, let's say Liv does have that belt when Rhea gets back, everyone expects Rhea to beat this woman off, from pillar to post. Like, it's going to be a rough night for Liv Morgan. Well, how do you help Liv Morgan save that title? Dom.
Right.
Is that not a match that's happening? I thought they had almost halfway announced Liv versus Becky at Backlash, or at least they had announced that they were having a world title match, I believe. Like, that's a match I feel should be added to Backlash.
We could. What match? Wait, what?
Liv versus Becky for the Women's World Championship.
Yeah, I don't know why that hasn't been announced or is not a part of the festivities.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could that be to where we squash the, Becky Hogan, speculation, everything like that, and then Liv gets her coronation for all the smarts, the marks, and the thoughts and everything like that in the Sims, to where she's world champion.
Do they save that for Saudi?
No, you don't do that in Saudi.
Why not?
Women's wrestling in Saudi still not a big thing.
But they've been doing it. I mean, like, they've had.
I know, but you do that with the ho-ho, with the français, with the, je suis un chocolat, all of that.
I think after the fiasco with Kairi Sane coming back last year during one of the Saudi shows and nobody cheering or saying anything, I think they need to save all their big moments off of the Saudi shows.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, no big women's moments on the Saudi shows.
Just trying to be a little progressive here.
Hey, we're going to move along from that. We're going to move along.
Main event.
So, main event of Backlash en Francais, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the undisputed WWE Championship.
I don't think we have to answer this question.
Yeah, I
Cody
think
Rhodes.
AJ Styles. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, Cody Rhodes, absolutely.
The Good Brothers help AJ Styles. Dun dun dun.
Match of the night, though. I will ask you match of the night.
I'm technically a little scared to say that. Only the reason why is past AJ Styles matches that were supposed to be potentially the match of the night didn't live up to it being the match of the night. But since it's Cody, exactly. Since it's Cody Rhodes, I'm gonna say it's potentially probably the match of the night on the card.
Yeah. You know what? I hope Jey Uso and Damian are the match of the night. Jey needs a big match. His rivalry with his brother at Mania didn't really go as we had hoped. So yeah, I think give it time. I think we have to. I'm hoping these guys show up and show out, especially for both of them. I'm a big fan of both.
If Jey wins, I could see like what you were saying of that being match of the night. But if I had to be a betting man on this, Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles needs to, should be, could be, would be match of the night, 100%. These are two guys that, again, like we talked about even with the Ospreay Danielson match, of it's going to be a great match. All you have to do is just have them signed under your fucking roster at the same time and just let them go.
Yeah, I mean, it should cook. I mean, these are two vets, guys, that know each other, very well. And we talked about it. The story is real cool as far as AJ fighting, Dusty back in the day. I think I mean, again, if this is the match of the night, it won't shock me. I'm just hoping like something out of the mid card surprises me, because especially if it stays such a small card, we're going to need some support for Cody and AJ to carry this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Tonga match, hopefully. Maybe the Tonga match is really good.
Maybe. Well, I think that there could be a moment that will outshine any match, that will outshine anything on this card that could happen. Do you think we get Uncle Howdy showing up in en français?
Feel like the writing's on the wall, literally.
Yeah, but how do they do it then? What, does he come out and they attack Cody? Like, where do you have them showing up or whatever? Like, when do you do that moment? Everything.
I think Triple H is a fan of rolling those credits, thinking that the show is over, and then pulling the surprise. They did it with Bray Wyatt. They did it with CM Punk. They did it with I feel like they did it one other time too.
Well, they just did it with Chad Gable and Sammy, right?
Right. Chad Gable and Sammy. I think that's how you pull it this time. Do it the same way, and it feels like, and it seems like it's not getting old, because it surprises fans every time. We're thinking the show goes off, and then boom, something else happens. I think we do it the same way at Backlash.
So vignette, they show up in the ring, they attack somebody. How you doing it at the end of the show?
I don't know if they don't necessarily have to attack someone. If we remember when Bray originally came back and he had like the puppets up in the in the corridors,
Right.
and they were spotlighting them. I mean, it could be something very similar to that. Just they all appear. Cody waves goodbye, he like walks down the ramp, waves goodbye, and then everything goes out and the lights come back on and they're in the ring. I don't know. I don't necessarily like when you said like the idea that they show up and beat the shit out of Cody makes me extremely nervous, because if you're gonna push right at Cody can't survive.
Like I said, I was just throwing out ideas out here of of how do they do it, because I have my own idea, and I could see like what you said, if they do it like when Bray came back with the Uncle Howdy and everything like that, to where you had all we thought it was the Wyatt Six, to where you had all the puppets come to life sitting there and the crowd and everything like that. I think you get the post ends credit scene and everything like that. You cut to black, or you get a glitch and everything like that, and then you get Bo and he takes off the Uncle Howdy mask. We're here, and then you cut off like that, and you just leave it as the ultimate kind of cliffhanger, deleted scene, after credits shit. And it's that little payback to, or callback to, Bray.
I think, and this is something I literally just came up with. End of the
That's
show.
what we do here.
End of the show, lights go out. I'm taking your idea of a little glitch.
Right.
When the lights come back on, it's Alexa Bliss holding the Lily doll laughing. The lights go out again. Alexa Bliss leaves. This time it's Eric Rowan. Lights go out again. It's Uncle Howdy.
Mm-hmm.
Then last time the lights go out and they come back, it's all three of them standing in the ring.
Not bad. I'd take that. And again, I think if I was able to, that's why I'm a little unsure about Backlash, because I kind of want them to come in like a wrecking ball. Like I want them to like that Nexus style of like they're here and they just decimate everything. They beat up Michael Cole. They fuck up the tables. They pull the ring apart. Like I want them to make an impact. I want them to be prominent and strong right out of the gate. And I don't know if this card lends to that. So I think like a post main event teaser's probably, gonna work the best.
I like them being it that way, of you do like a post credit scene, like we've talked about, of the lower thirds pulled up and everything like that, and you just get like the little glitch and all that and everything, because we've seen teases on it on Raw, we've seen teases on it on SmackDown, we've even seen it teases on NXT at this point. So we don't know if, when, where, or how they're going to show up. So I like if you at least scratch that itch enough that you acknowledge that, say it's Bo, Just have Bo out there. He takes off the mask, and you don't know shit for shit about anything else. And then you can still go back to the glitches. Like, you feed it enough to where, oh, I got to make sure I tune into Monday Night Raw because they could show up there. And, oh, we got a tease that sends us to fucking SmackDown, what have you.
Yeah, no, I think, and they've been very good at teasing. And I think that the story has lent well for it. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be breadcrumbs. We're not going to get the whole kit and caboodle right out of the gate. It might just be Howdy. Like you said, I think even if you just switch it up a little and it's Alexa in the ring, the lights come on and she's holding the lantern, like go back off. Like there's little things you can play with this, but I do think we've seen with this regime, they're very patient and they will piss off a portion of the fans that can't wait for the answer.
And I love that about this regime of how things are very slow and methodical and things are drawn out. I love that. And I love how it pisses everybody off in the wrestling community because we're a part of this microwave society. So
hey, it's the opposite of, another 3-letter promotion and everything like that. That's just still flying by the seat of their pants or their neck brace. But yeah, it's very much everything seems calculated and has a plan that's pinned out 2-3 months down the line versus we're doing this. Like, even all of the kind of teases and everything that we've gotten so far have still not given any sort of an end game and end point. Like, we're literally guessing that they'll show up in Backlash because they showed up. You pointed out in our group chat with the fucking Statue of Liberty standing on top of a fucking pyramid, and well, it was a gift from France. So that's the thing, is it takes me back to with your White Rabbit stuff, and now it's just the reverse of that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it really, going back to the point of how things are kind of drawn out with this regime, for that unaired WrestleMania documentary that hasn't came out yet.
Shit, I forgot that hasn't come
one
out.
of the teasers, Triple H had said that 80 to 85% of the WrestleMania card was locked in October. That's how planned out that they have this stuff. And that's what I like. And I think that's going to be the same thing with like Uncle Howdy and, everybody else involved.
No, absolutely. 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 Now, did we want to actually 2 questions? First and foremost, Cena and Charlotte spotted in France. Everyone's saying, ooh la la. But I, again, could it just be promotionally? We don't believe that Charlotte's ready to go. Cena could make an appearance, come out, do like what he did in, when he just came out in London and just gave a promo and left again.
We're going to bring a WrestleMania here in all France. Hey,
right.
No, I think that is just like the promotional beforehand and everything. Cause I can't remember the last time in my lifetime off the top of my head that they've run a premium live event out of France. So we talk about WWE going global and everything like that. Like, I know all of us have a certain vintage and everything. They did, SummerSlam from the UK and all of that. They've done, certain little kind of one-off pay-per-views overseas. But now with them doing this many shows overseas, I think it's just now we're going to really just spread that market. We're going to have our goodwill ambassadors show up and just, shaking hands and kissing babies.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's more promotional work. If Charlotte does return, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very not shocked because of how her recovery has gone. Like, I think this woman was running on her knee the other day. I think there was a video out there of her running.
I think she's just Kryptonian.
So like, if she does come back at Backlash, I would not be surprised because at this point she's like the female John Cena with recovery.
It's all that woo energy drink and everything.
Right.
The woo energy and the Ric Flair drip. It's just got her right.
Yeah, no, she's the fucking T1000. Like, it's insane. Just, right. But yeah, no, I mean, Backlash is interesting. I will say, I think we talk about this a lot, and we've done this a couple of years now, where the WrestleMania hangover seems to kind of maybe hinder some of the hype around Backlash. But we'll see. I mean, it's an early one. We'll see how it goes.
Well, that's the thing. Does this feel like a WrestleMania Backlash? And I know we talked about it the other night. They haven't called it WrestleMania Backlash for a couple years here, but this very much, feels like, the hangover after WrestleMania here of this is just your kind of get right of let's just patch this over till we get to, the rosters are official. We can build to a serious pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think the WrestleMania hangover, to be honest, is always going to be there because there's no off season, and it's always going to be like, that okay, this is kind of after WrestleMania. We got to kind of push through it until June when we start kind of getting into the SummerSlam, hype, and the Money in the Bank hype. So I think it's always going to be there. I don't think there's really any way you can avoid it.
Yeah, and it'll be very interesting because we're following this up with a Saudi show. So again, we get a lot of sizzle, not a lot of steak with the Saudi show most times. So if Backlash is a little bit average, head into that. We don't get a whole lot of going on there. We're building the SummerSlam, folks.
I think there'll be more excitement for the King and Queen of the Ring than there is for this.
Fair enough.
Even though it is a Saudi show, like I know Saudi shows are Saudi shows, but I think that there'll be more of a hype for King and Queen of the Ring, especially with they've kind of teased of who they're going to have in that field, and I think they're going to put some more prominent figures in that field.
Okay. Did we want to quickly run through Under Siege tomorrow? We will be live for that, and I will remind everybody watching right now, we are back for SmackDown and Under Siege tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one. Saturday, we will be live for Backlash, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So wake, bake, do what you do. Get your cereal, get your toast, get your bacon, and get to the channel. It's going to be a fun one on Saturday. And then we're back all the time. We got more content coming your way. We got more live streams, more pay-per-views. So make sure you be a friend, tell a friend. We are growing by the minute. Anybody that likes wrestling, send them our link. Let them know who we are. But yeah, we got TNA Under Siege tomorrow.
Do we want to
be a good show?
I think it is. I'm gonna be honest. This might be the first time I'm not super excited for a TNA event. I struggle with the back-to-back pay-per-views a little bit. I struggle with we just had Rebellion 2 weeks later. We're having Under Siege. I think it's going to deliver like all the other pay-per-views, but I'm just not super excited about it because I feel like I'm still in that Rebellion kind of headspace.
I feel like this one really, really, really went under the radar. And maybe because it was I feel like this is the third pay-per-view in 9 weeks, 10 weeks. Two Friday shows and Rebellion in the middle. I wish they would spread them out a little more.
And I think the struggle with it is because it's not live. So and I'm not talking about Under Siege, I'm talking about their weekly shows, because when you record them around a pay-per-view, it's kind of difficult to schedule the next pay-per-view. And I feel like because right now we got Under Siege, but we'll have, I think, Against All Odds the middle of June. And I'm so we're going almost 6 weeks without a pay-per-view. If it was live, I feel like it would be structured a little bit better because they could have pushed Under Siege until the middle of May, but they didn't have enough tapings to do around the Rebellion weekend. And I think that's the problem because you have Rebellion Saturday night. They're not going to tape 4 TV shows in one night Sunday. That's a big hangover for the wrestling, the TNA wrestling fans that are attending. So they can only tape 2 shows the night after. I think that's the problem there with them not being live.
Fair enough. I'd move these secondary shows into 2 weeks of TNA, or do it on the Thursday, not the Friday.
Like they do with NXT.
Yeah.
This is very much their Quake of the Lake situation here. I feel one of those of you could have just not done it and then said you did it. You did it.
But that being said, it will probably surprise us. There's probably going to be, right?
We'll see. Rapid fire through this. So I'm going to name off the match. One word answer. FBI, Guido Clayton, and Ray Jazz versus TBD. 6-man tag match.
TBD always wins.
AJ TBD?
TBD.
Yeah.
Fuck you both, then. I'm going with the Paisans.
Yeah, sorry, Paisans. Go make a pizza.
Yeah. Jordan Grace and PCO versus Steph D. Lander and Khan in a mixed tag team match, justifying that abomination that was a women's match at Rebellion.
I don't want to vote against Jordan Grace because I really think Steph D. Lander and Khan are going to pull it out. But I'm going to go Jordan Grace and PCO because they're my favorite. So there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, I kind of have to go with you. No, I'll go Khan. I'll go Khan and D. Lander set up another D. Lander title shot.
Yeah, screw it. Damn you. I was going to go D. Lander. I will. D. Lander.
D. Lander it is.
Spitfire of Dana Luna and Jody Threat defending the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships versus Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich. Ah!
I'm afraid they're going to do it. So I'm going to go with it. Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich, new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions.
Listen, I think they're going to do it. I honestly, because I don't like it. I feel so uncomfortable with it. But I think that's what's going to happen.
Alicia Edwards is Chris Jericho of TNA. And I'm going to take Spitfire to win this match 110%. I love Masha. I have been the fucking one campaigning for her when she was out there top 15 in all of PWI and all of that, you know, above every other woman. But Spitfire needs to win this match. To hell with Alicia Edwards as a champion in TNA.
Australian Kim Kardashian. Now,
I mean, if the shoe fits, you might as well wear it.
Right.
Hammerstone versus Jake something.
Easily could be match of the night. I feel that both of them are somewhat on a losing kind of streak here. I don't know who needs this victory more. Maybe Hammerstone. I'm gonna take Hammerstone.
Oh man. Yeah, Hammerstone. It's too hard to bet against them. Something kind of needs it too, though.
Right. They both need it. They really do.
Need a little something.
Yeah, but Hammerstone needs this. I like this. Team Militia. No.
Militia. Oh my God.
I like that. I'm gonna use that on Twitter.
I'm
gonna use that on Twitter. Team
you
Militia
have to
tonight.
And then so Broken Matt Hardy, yes. And Speedball Mountain versus the System of Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards in a 6-man tag match.
By the way, Speedball Mountain as a tag team name is quite interesting choice.
Why? They should be called Tony Khan?
Allegedly.
They'll just be called the AEW Locker Room, Speedball Mountain.
That's how you become like at AEW. You got to get up Speedball Mountain to be the champion.
I was gonna say, well, you got to ride Space Mountain with Ric Flair, and then Tony's gonna get you on the speedballs and everything. So there you go.
All allegedly, folks.
Allegedly.
A lot of controversy surrounding this match out of nowhere. But if Nick Nemeth was wrestling in this match like he was supposed to, I would have went with Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain. But I'm gonna take the System in this one.
Yeah. Again, I hate to agree with you again, but yeah, especially with the things that are happening, I think the System's been a force. They're kind of running TNA right now. I like it. So yeah, give them the win.
No, I will delete you. That we're going broken Matt Hardy with all of this. And it's still funny to me if he's very much like the second he showed up, he's like, by the way, just in case anyone's asking, I haven't signed a contract with them. I'm still bringing photos. I'm still open for business here.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think Matt Hardy wins this one. They just had him show up. You can at least have him get a win in a 6-man tag match. Maybe you set up a Moose versus Matt Hardy match for the title.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'm like, yeah.
It's provocative. No one knows what it means, but it gets the people going.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
And
Matt Hardy versus PCO.
Matt Hardy's still just clinging on to everything with the Wyatt family and everything like that. Anytime they put out a fucking glitch or anything, he makes sure to retweet that shit. See, I can do the spooky shit too. And then, so last match, potentially main event for Under Siege, Josh Alexander and EY Eric Young versus Steve Macklin and Frankie Kazarian.
I don't know how to feel about this match. Somewhat random.
Random is how you feel.
But at this point, I've bet against Josh Alexander too many times and he's won. So Josh Alexander and Frankie Kazarian, not Frankie Kazarian, but Eric Young.
No. Frankie.
No.
No. Yeah, I don't want to see Kazarian win at all. So yeah, no, they're losing.
See, Josh Alexander and Steve Macklin should be a fucking team or a feud or whatever. Like that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I kind of want out of this. And I mean, if Hammerstone's going to win earlier on in the night, or depending on where this card lays out, this could be before even Hammerstone has a match. Josh Alexander needs to win. He's taken recent L's to Hammerstone. You've still got to keep him going. But I hate that Macklin's taking out. Like, that's the thing, is if I had Josh Alexander and Macklin versus EY and Kazarian, this is a whole different game here we're playing.
Right.
I agree, but they're losing. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I feel bad for picking on Frankie, but yeah, no. Take the L.
Bro, he was the elite killer or the elite hunter in all elite wrestling and couldn't find one elite. Like, what the fuck are you doing out there, my guy? That's like running through an apple orchard and saying, I can't find one apple. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm just telling you, Jesus, I feel bad for the person riding Ric Flair.
Jesus.
Back to you, Nick.
You're gonna make me follow that up with, the longest, make me the oldest rider, but it's still got the longest line.
And it's broke down half the time.
But no, that is all the matches for Under Siege here. Do we want to talk about the NFL, the WWE Draft? Is there anything we want to touch on before we tiptoe by the window on out of here?
Yeah. No, I mean, I wonder if the chat has anything real that we might have missed out of talking about. Overall, again, I mean, there's some level of excitement from us Under Siege, TNA usually does pretty good for their pay-per-views.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But they're saying a pay-per-view.
Well, it's a semi-pay-per-view. I don't know what you want to do.
Yeah, and I think I should, because I've seen people in the comments like, I don't like this side of Anthony. So let me clarify.
Bring it out. Let's go. Bring out that demon side. Let's go.
I think Under Siege is going to be great. I have not watched a TNA pay-per-view in the past year and a half. Actually, I can include 2022 because I've watched all of them as well. That has been bad. I don't think this is going to be a bad pay-per-view or a monthly special. I think it's going to be great. I just somewhat am over the 2-week monthly specials. Like, we just got over Rebellion. That's the only thing. And I don't think like we had enough time to build like matches with like the last one with Eric Young and Alexander, things of that sort. I think those kinks can potentially be worked out next year if they do go live. But I think that's the only problem I'm having with TNA. It's going to be a great show tomorrow, and I'm going to be watching it regardless.
Yeah, Okay. I think it'll be all right. We'll see. We'll be here live for it, so it should be a fun one. Wrestling for Life Network. Do you think Cody Rhodes' next opponent will be revealed at Backlash? I do not.
No, I think we've got to build some time up with this because I think we've talked about this. There's not anything until what, SummerSlam, or am I missing something?
Well, we have the Saudi show, and then we have Money in the Bank. Then
Do you think Cody defends the title on a Saudi show? Well, he'll probably do it, but it'll be against some fucking
Goldberg.
Yeah, oh no, well,
no,
it could be that guy, but it'll be against somebody that Cody's going to easily win. I think we don't get anything of sustenance and substance as far as Cody's title reign until around SummerSlam.
Yeah, Anthony.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Maybe around June-ish, the start of June, we start seeing some movement with Cody Rhodes' title reign. I don't think much is gonna happen after Backlash. He might have some type of Cody Rhodes versus John Cena match at I don't know, the King of the Ring, the Saudi show. They like to throw John Cena in special moments. But other than that, I don't think it's gonna have anything of substance until maybe about June.
Yeah, I think they might throw one of those like very, kind of big name, like who we didn't see that coming. Like Cody versus Logan Paul, title versus title, just a swerve. Like that they're gonna go over the top for the Saudi show. So
well, when's Berlin and when's Clash of the Castle before we get to SummerSlam? That's the thing is I can't remember.
Yeah, I think Berlin is at the end of August. SummerSlam is at the beginning of August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What is it? Bash in Berlin?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's easy. But yeah, no, I mean it'd be very interesting to see how that all plays out. Ace Austin versus Mustafa Ali at Under Siege.
He must have beaten Trey Miguel tonight.
Yes, I didn't miss that. So yeah, Ace Austin versus Mustafa Ali for the TNA X Division Championship. So mea culpa, I missed the match.
Right.
Or anyone not picking Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, easily.
It's gonna be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
That could be match of the night right there.
Right. Well, and people are saying Clash is in June.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Clash.
Yeah.
But if Clash happens, I think that's where you would see Drew win his title back. Like, if you're going to have Drew be champion or anything, like are we just doing this, homecoming tour of everybody wins a title in their hometown?
Yeah, no, I think there's a chance that he might be still, it might be Drew versus Punk in Glasgow for all we know. Like, I mean, again, it's
still a hell of a fucking match.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if he can necessarily be tied to the title. I mean, again, would it be a cool moment? Yeah, it could happen, but we're still playing around with this Punk storyline. I mean, maybe he wins the belt and then it builds to Drew versus Punk for the belt at SummerSlam. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of pay-per-views coming, a lot of international pay-per-views. So
WWE Draft, yay or nay? Should it stay? Should it go? To the left, everything you pick in the box to the left.
I don't mind it. I think people have to take it less serious.
I think just have an off season. Or not even exactly have an off season, but as far as like a talent wise, to where you can have free agents amongst like fuck around with the dirt sheets and everything like that, and talk about contracts or what have you and everything. Just fuck with them. Have them just lose their mind over so and so is going to be a free agent. Where are they going to go? And then sign to Monday Night Raw instead of Friday Night SmackDown type shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, they could kind of do now, and I think if they start,
that's what I'm saying. Do that versus draft, because draft we expect big moves and we don't get big moves.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably explained my take in a TikTok video the best I could. I'm not sure if the WWE draft was the right terminology to use, but I personally did not go in expecting for some reason big moves. drafts.
Yeah.
Why? Because of Triple H. And it seems like, and I said in my TikTok video that in past WWE drafts, a lot of the storylines were abruptly cut because these superstars moved to different brands. With Triple H being storyline driven, I fully expected when, and I use these examples, when CM Punk was drafted to Raw, Drew McIntyre was going to be drafted to Raw. When Tiffany Stratton was drafted to SmackDown, Naomi was going to be drafted to SmackDown. For some reason, my mind already went there, and I was okay with it. And that's all because of storyline.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought the draft was all right. I mean, a couple big splashes here or there. Was I blown away by it? No, because like you, I kind of had my expectations tempered of like, they're not gonna, blow something completely out of the water. So yeah, I mean, again, for what it is, it's a gimmick draft. I mean, maybe there's an opportunity to do that like once a year, SmackDown and Raw get together and they draft NXT talent.
Do it as a rookie draft. That's what I was going to say. If you did it as like a rookie draft or whatever, like actually treat it like an NFL draft would have you you're eligible for the rookie draft, what have you, but you maybe have to tie something to it of for every pick you make someone available on your roster or some shit like that, what have you. But something like that works way better than what we've got now. What we've got now, kayfabe's gone out of it. The fucking believability is gone.
Yeah.
I feel like there's two ways you can do it. One of the ways you mentioned already, Nick, was having an off season, which they're never going to do. And then the second thing is, if WrestleMania is truly the end of the current year storyline, make it that, and then have the draft immediately after.
The Monday after Mania, have like a reset draw. Draft.
Yeah.
Shuffle the deck. I can be okay with that.
Fair enough. I don't mind it. I like the idea of it being like NXT being a rookie draft and everything because it still has to be that kind of developmental, that bringing up new talent, brand. So it does tiptoe with that. But if it was one of those for say every person that you draft from NXT, you make somebody else on your roster that's available that could be snagged up by either other brand of, even if it is NXT, they might go over to NXT.
Yeah, not bad. But yeah, I mean, again, it's just hokey. So maybe do it once every 2 years. I don't know what to tell you. I don't mind it. Like, people just, it doesn't have to go away because it's not, just know what you're gonna get. Know that you're not gonna get this epic, seismic shift. Once in a while you might, but I think just expect it to be half decent and move on.
But we want epic. We want big storytelling.
Right? I like the every 2 years idea, KJ. I'd never thought about that. That's pretty cool. Every Spread 2 years. Yeah.
Like the Purge. The cuts right before it and then the draft.
Right. There you go. With all of that being said, gentlemen, I think we're good to, I think we went quite a while longer than I anticipated, but that goes to show how much there is to talk about in this crazy wrestling world. I'm going to take a second to remind everybody out there to click all our buttons, check out all our links. Make sure you join us on social media as well as the Discord. Go check out all Anthony's stuff as well. You can find all the links below. But with all that being said, we are back tomorrow night for a doubleheader, SmackDown and TNA. We will be here for Backlash, Brunch with the Boys, 11:30 a.m. Saturday morning. And we got more coming your way. So be a friend, tell a friend, and all that fun stuff. But a pretty agreeable night, boys. Yes!
Yes, we're so excited. What happened? Please let us know.
And we're good to go. Let's go.
Yeah, there we go. The Toronto Maple Leafs live to fight again.
You're up. Nice timing. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us and all that other fun stuff.
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is raw.
Let Anthony say something.
What?
He's good. He can take us out. He's good.
I'm gonna be eating all the potatoes here from Anthony.
It's all you, Nick. I'm good.
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is all authentic. When you're talking about that wrestling, but that full life with it. Je suis en français.
See you on the flip side. Good night. I don't know what he